I love this comic book. The Walking Dead, book number 11. A shocked Rick asks Hershel what he means by dead ones after hearing him say that he keeps them in the barn. Hershel tells him he's been storing the undead in the barn until he can figure out how to deal with them. He then asks Rick how his group has been dealing with them. Rick tells him very pointedly he's been killing them. The two get into an intense and heated argument. Hershel explains that no one understands what's going on. Rick counters by saying that they know the undead are trying to eat them, and it's dangerous to keep them so close to his house. He continues saying they should kill every zombie in the barn before they are killed by the zombies. Hershel tells him that his son Sean Green was bitten and turned before their arrival, and not knowing what else to do, he kept him and all other undead they found in the barn. A sympathetic Rick tells Hershel the zombie in the barn is not his son anymore. Hershel furiously knocks him back, reiterating they don't understand the outbreak, and that it could be anything, while Rick continues to argue the opposite. Eventually, Tyrese steps in and calms Rick down. Hershel assures Rick it's completely safe, and Rick hesitantly backs down. Later that night, Alan is sitting outside the RV when Rick finds him and begins talking to him about his state of mind. Alan tells Rick he's been thinking about Donna a lot, claiming he heard her voice the previous night. Rick tries to console him, but it doesn't help. As they talk, Glenn spots them and pretends to be up for air, while he's secretly meeting up with Maggie, as the two go off together during Rick and Alan's chat. The next morning, Rick meets up with Hershel and apologizes for his behavior the previous day. Hershel accepts and moves on as well. Rick offers him some extra guns and ammunition, which Hershel appreciates and accepts. Rick also informs him that he has planned some basic gun training for everyone. Back inside the farmhouse, Andrea attempts to reconcile with Alan, who angrily refuses to speak with her. Dale starts to give him a talking to, but Andrea stops him. She apologizes to Alan and leaves. Rick talks to Tyrese and Carol about their kids and carrying guns. The survivors are later outdoors shooting cans at targets, but Hershel stops them because they are shooting at the Thompsons' house, which was on the other side of the fence. A zombie then appears, and Hershel takes hold of it and attempts to force it inside the barn. However, a larger zombie was leaning against the door and knocks both Hershel and the zombie to the ground. The door, still ajar, allows zombies to begin spilling out of the barn. Arnold saves his father from an attack, but is bitten by his zombie brother Sean in the process. Lacey Green is devoured by a group of zombies as well. Upon seeing this, Hershel has a change of heart and joins Rick Group in putting down the zombies, killing Sean, Arnold, and Lacey. Hershel puts the gun to his head and is about to pull the trigger when Rick stops him. The devastated group holds a funeral service for all the dead, where Hershel acknowledges that Rick was right about the undead. Julie and Chris go to Tyrese, asking him if they should return the guns from the practice as they still have them. For their safety, Tyrese says they should hold on to them, but be very careful. They go off on their own and talk about completing some plan using the guns. This book starts off really intensely with Rick and Hershel's conversation about the undead and the zombies in the barn nearly turning into a brawl. Tyrese plays the peacekeeper when everyone else is too stunned to do anything. The only thing the two agreed on in this entire argument is that they don't know what caused this to happen. The next morning, Rick does the responsible and adult thing that everyone most likely thought he would anyway. He goes to Hershel and he apologizes. Once accepted, he then offers guns and gun training, which Hershel accepts gladly. Gun training does not go smoothly either. Rick has them practicing where he thought it was safe and okay. However, he's actually got them shooting at a neighbor's house. Hershel still holds out hope that his neighbors will recover and live there again. Before practice can be moved, a walker appears. Hershel does his thing and then goes to put it in the barn. Sadly, this goes terribly wrong. Two more of his children wind up getting bitten and die. He nearly commits suicide because of this. It's a painful way to learn a lesson of this magnitude. He, now along with everyone else, puts down all the walkers he'd been keeping in his barn. They hold a funeral for his 3 children who are now dead in the hopes that they may be at rest now. Julie and Chris are a bit odd at the end. They've kept the guns from practice and even asked Tyrese if it's okay with him if they carry them. He agrees after the barn incident. It's what they say after that leaves me confused and worried. They are talking about a plan they have. I hope it's not to kill Tyrese so that they can do whatever they want. His daughter seems like a good kid, just under Chris's bad influence. Thanks for tuning in to the I Love This Comic Book podcast. If you would like to make a donation in support of this podcast, you can through Cash App to Pasta26MC. That's pasta like the food, the number 2, the number 6, M as in monkey, C as in cat. If you would like to sponsor this podcast or advertise on it, please send an email to podcast@pastasworld.com. As always, you can go to pastasworld.com for more information.